Now that we know the cause, how do we backtrack and try to reverse the situation in order to kind of get you out of that depressive state and into the state of becoming the person you want to be? So in the last video, when I was referring to methods on how you can treat, cure, or aid with your depression symptoms, I do want to clarify that this can work probably 9 times out of 10, okay? Everybody's situation is obviously different, but from my behalf, 9 times out of 10, you could actually use this type of method to help with your depression diagnosis. And I do want to mention, if you haven't seen the first video, I highly recommend you go and watch it in order to understand what I'm talking about in this one fully. So in this video, I will be giving you another example on how the method I was referring to in the last video actually works. This will be another example. So in the last video, I was talking about how people that are depressed tend to be depressed because of a certain situation that they can oftentimes change, okay? And in that video, I gave you a couple examples. One of the examples was how person A had no friends or less friends or was sort of in an antisocial situation. And what I said about that was, okay, well, if you're depressed because you have no friends right now, there are so many ways where you can reverse that, right? You could either start going to networking events, you could get on social media, you could work on your anti-socialism, people can introduce you to friends, a family member could become your friend, whatever the case may be. If you are depressed because you had no friends, there are so many ways where you could reverse that into now having friends. And if you are actually depressed because you are being antisocial and have a lack of friends, and now you can go out and have friends, you're more than likely not going to be that depressed anymore, okay? Another example I mentioned was something like if you're a student or you are in a course or you are doing some certain type of testing in order to elevate or do whatever you're doing, and you take this test and you get a low grade or you failed the test, there's always the situation where you can go back, retake the test, study harder, learn where you did not the best, and get a higher grade, pass that test. And again, I said in that video, more than likely, you know, in this case, 10 times out of 10, if you are depressed because you got a low grade and you went back and took that test again and got a higher grade, 10 times out of 10, you're not going to be depressed anymore. So in this video, I did want to give you a few more examples of how this can work. And the first one I want to discuss is the person you're talking to that's depressed because they don't have enough money or their financial situation is not really sustainable or they just want more for themselves. Okay, so we're talking to person A here, and person A is like, let's just say 25 years old. Okay, and I say, listen, why are you depressed? Excuse me. And he says, look, I'm depressed because I just wish I had more money, right? I watch this YouTuber that's in real estate that makes so much more money than me. He drives the car that I dream about and lives in a home that I want to be in like. Perfect. Right off the bat, you almost answered your own question. I'm depressed because I want to be making more money. So I'm like, perfect. We know the cause. Now that we know the cause, how do we backtrack and try to reverse the situation in order to kind of get you out of that depressive state and into the state of becoming the person you want to be? The person that you want to be makes more money. And I say, well, okay, and what do you do now for money? oh, I buy and sell sneakers when I can, and also I have a part-time job over at the Wendy's. Cool. I say that's perfect. At least you understand that you gain money by working and you're not stuck at home just praying for money, right? Great. Now, you watch this YouTube real estate guy that obviously you look up to, right? And to you, it looks like this person is making a ton more money than you are. And he's proven to you that by doing this, he has the car you already dream about. He lives in a house like the one you want to be in someday. So what do you take from this? I don't know. I can never be that person. Stop right there. You can become whoever you want to be. If you're looking up to this real estate guy on YouTube and you want to be like that, why don't you start becoming that type of person? If you already know that the real estate guy is motivating you and he's making more money than you and you want to be making that type of money, why don't you start the journey of becoming a real estate guy like the one you look up to? Why don't you start looking into research and start learning how to become a person like the one you want to become? Right? So the real estate guy, why don't you just start becoming the real estate guy? Why don't you start taking some classes on that? Why don't you just start learning how to become that guy? Because you could go ahead and start doing what this person did and eventually become the real estate guy that makes the type of money that you want to be making and driving the type of cars that you like and being in the home that you see this guy in. It's that simple. Person A goes, well, that's probably going to take a couple years. It's probably going to take 3 years. So I go, okay, well, you're already like 25 years old. If you divide 25 by 3, that's over 7. Okay, that's over 7. That means you lived 3 years 7 plus times already. 7 plus 3 is 21. So you done lived the increment of 3 years 7 plus times already. Okay, so if you look back 3 years, you were about 22. And before that, you were about 18 or 19. So you done lived already this time span of 3 years 7 plus times already. Okay, you done lived through it, you done survived, and now where are you? You're in a situation where you don't want to be. So knowing that, you are going to live another 3 years, whether you get the type of money you want or not. You are about to live another 3 years, and then another 3 years after that, and then another 3 years after that. So knowing this, why don't you live the next 3 years becoming the person that you'd like to become? Right? Oh, well, it's going to be a lot of work and it's going to take a lot of time and dedication. Well, do you really want to be that person or not? Do you really want to be making the type of money that person is making or not? Do you really want to be driving the type of car that this person drives or not? Would you really be like to living in a type of house that he lives in eventually, like he does, or not? And if you are really depressed because you want to be making the type of money that this person does, and you want to reverse that, then you are going to go ahead and start putting in that work for the 3 years to come. It's that simple, guys. It's that simple. Now, I will be talking about this topic more and more often, as well as giving you more and more examples on how you could potentially treat your depression instead of taking some type of medication that numbs you down and makes you forget about what you want to be doing and puts you on a medication to stop you from doing what you want to be doing. Therefore, you will be taking this medication forever and forever not becoming the person that you want to become and forever be depressed. I'm also doing private consultations for the guys that really need it. If you think you have an example or situation you're going through in depression that you think you can't really shake, because somebody said, no, you got to take this, or no, you got to do this, or chill out, you're crazy, Let's do this. Give me a call. 9 times out of 10, I can help you reverse your case. 9 times out of 10. I hope this helped somebody.